Hello again. Travis Wayne Goodzell. I was up late last night, so woke up 6 hours earlier, or 6 hours later. With the bed, I'm sleeping on my back. And for those of you who have read my Dream Interpretation Introduction 101 or whatever it's called, that's how you get message dreams. Messengers come and tell you things. And so it's interesting because I've always, the longest time, I've been sleeping on my left side. Yeah. And the left side puts pressure on the left side of the brain. And that's the intellectual side. And so you get more symbolic, intellectual dreams versus the right side, which is creative. Am I getting that right? We can check. Right side of brain, creative, yeah. Innovative people are considered right brain thinkers. The science behind that is such that they've actually opened up people's brains and attached electrodes to see what part of the brain does something when electrocuted. So that's how they know the creative side is on the right side and the intellectual side is on the left side. And so to run the test, I would pay attention to the dreams and indicate in my dream journal, which has all been thrown away by my dad, all that research that I did. And which side I slept on when I woke up. And so prophecy dreams also are in a separate category, but some of these things play in part. And so I'm very well aware that this is the final year of the latter days where things are gonna pick up, escalate, and happen. And so I noticed that by sleeping on my back, I'm thinking in terms of getting notification, Mormons are going to kill you, you need to run. Because that's the prophecy. You didn't know that? Remember, the Book of Mormon is not a literal history. And Mormons are furious with me for this. The Book of Mormon's true. I don't deny this. And yet Mormons are still furious with me that I won't accept their Fantasyland beliefs that the church has taught them. That it's literal history, that Jesus actually came to the Americas. It has nothing to do with prophecy and revelation for the latter days, even though Benson came out and said it's the same pattern for the latter days. He used second coming of Jesus, the first coming, as a pattern for the second coming. But Mormons have to have their literal history, otherwise they cannot accept any other conclusion, even when it shows that the Book of Mormon is true. That's just freaky, scary freaky. Because I've been getting death threats by Mormons over the years, just because I support Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon, but not their way. And so yes, they're trying to enforce their beliefs with violence and murder. And they don't catch on that that's already in the Book of Mormon as a naughty no-no. God, I really don't want to save Mormons. But I really don't want to be the only one in Zion, because temple's not going to get built. The city won't get built. But at least I'm the only one who knows where it's supposed to be located. Mormons think it's in Independence, Missouri, and are concerned, oh no, the other churches own the temple lot and the other place across the street. What do we do? It's not the place. It's not the right place. There are just certain Mormon jokes that only Mormons can understand. If you're not a Mormon, you don't understand. And so, yes, I am Mormon, having a bad hair day. Because after I had woken up, I wanted to stay sleeping, went back to sleep and turned on my left side. Because I needed to go back. Alright, I've got a whole bunch of papers with videos I haven't gotten to. And so I need to get to these today, as I notice my views are starting to tank, so it's time to pick them back up. I did finish a project yesterday. I need to save it. I did get an email request to give you guys a tour of my apartment. Are you seriously wanting to see the Stargate wormhole in my toilet? I could literally make what is it when you do videos as if you were it's like cover bands. They're not the band, they're just doing their music. So this would be a cover movie, TV show technically. But yeah, it's just it's annoying to me. Alright, so Nelson highlights for each conference. So yeah, I've been doing I had them in playlists, videos from Nelson from each of the conferences, and I had gotten into 2019, and then there were some others from other ones that I had obtained because I found them and needed to use them for videos. But I still need to finish them and do a thorough video clip of Nelson's highlights. But this is for a collection of his greatest hits from each conference. So that is on my list to do. And that won't involve me. It's just a matter of putting Nelson's own words there. So don't blame me, Mormons. That's your president. New state flag. Yeah. I told you, they're planning on Zion for the church with the overthrow of the government. And this new flag was part of that. The legislature knows when certain laws will take effect. And even with the push to have it as a referendum, they're wanting this flag out by March 9th of 2024. That's their goal. And what's a month later? Because there's 31 days in March, and so it's going to be the 8th of April 2024, which will be 1 month later. And what's going to be that conference? What's on the day of 8 April 2024? That conference when Nelson was planning to have the rededication ceremony of the Salt Lake Temple with the inverted pentagram on the keystone? Meaning the doctrines of Lucifer are taught within the Salt Lake Temple? And all Mormons are mad at me for it. God. See, I was a Mormon, just like you. Why are you mad at me? I'm the one who's going, wait a minute, that's not what we've been told. They're lying to us. And I'm able to recognize that I don't want to trust a liar. What's wrong with you? Because Lucifer is a pretty bad dude. He does bad things. And the church is embracing it. And they're doing bad things to me. And Mormons have been embracing this as well. Doing very bad things. And they can't get a clue? Or do they have a clue and they just want to gaslight us? Like Trump followers. Because Bill Maher watched his show about the MAGA thing. I mean, seriously. They don't like Trump either. They just like that he's bucking the system. And I knew this back when I was a kid, listening to the guys who were listening to Sean Hannity on the radio and Rush Limbaugh, being extremely homophobic and sexist and all of this stuff, anti-Jewish, anti-Mexican, because we're in Southern California. Yes, I saw their behavior. I know why they do what they do now. And they do it just to do it. It's not a show. They purposely do it because it gets them attention. It's something that they just want to be anarchists with. And it's scary. And if Mormons are doing that with Mormonism, dear God. And so it's not faith promoting to expose the LDS Church. It's just, oh my God, I'm in need of a haircut. So, yeah, I was getting lots of views for my videos. That is weird. So whatever problem I was having on a regular basis for years, now all of a sudden is gone. But the 18-year-old missionary has shown up on the stats, and he didn't even watch the video. I did the video covering about it with his comment, clueless about the first vision. And I found out from the stats, he didn't watch the video. He clicked on only to put the comment and run away. Oh my God. What is wrong with you Mormons? Seriously. You just assume that because the title doesn't fit your spiritual witness beliefs, that I'm wrong. You're wrong. You're not allowed to do that. It's in the scriptures. You're in violation of your own scriptures. Stop it. Oh my God. I don't know why I had the scriptures up. Jacob 7, 9 through 11. I covered that in a video, but I thought I should probably do a video in and of itself on it. Nelson is a false translator. I don't have to say a thing. I'll probably have to explain some of it for you, because what Nelson is doing is kind of a malicious thing. You see, Joseph Smith is known to be a translator. The church has come out and said, no, it's not really a translator per se. It's redefined translator as revelator. And so all of the prophets from Brigham Young, who exalted themselves because they didn't have authority as quorum of the 12 members, to all of a sudden take over the position of church leadership. And I've done many videos on that. And so it just occurred to me, yeah, the reason why I'm getting the rashes and the swelling, it's the dust that's carried over from the other apartment. And if you remember, the church was trying to assassinate me, and that attempted assassination of causes causes adverse reactions in me that are very serious. The coughing and the rashes and the swelling, very severe stuff. And if you're familiar with anybody with allergies to things that have health emergencies from it, that's me. And they tried to assassinate me. They refused to fix the air unit that was full of mold. They were even in denial that the mold was even in the air unit. I had to show them. And then he was still in denial, the maintenance guy. That's not mold. I'm going to test it. Yeah, mold. I knew what I was talking about. But, yeah, they didn't do anything the whole summer, which was 2019. That was the hottest year on record that year. They were literally trying to kill me. And so I was forced to file the federal lawsuits against the church and include property management with it, because I had found the receipt that the church had paid for my indefinite incarceration for 6 years of my life. Found the receipt of the hitman paid. Hit person paid. But nonetheless, and so yes, there's no way Mormons are going to convince me. The stupid-ass Mormon who said, why don't you come to church, we'll have a laugh, and then we'll agree to disagree. Get the hell out of here, you bleep and bleep bleep. Mormons just don't get it. And maybe that's why they don't want to watch my channel, is because they watch the other ex-Mormon channels in the hopes that, like the one Mormon on It's Me, Jesse, they want to convert them back to the church. And so they pretend to watch, oh, yay, ha, 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 but it is actually this. Maybe you should try it and come back. Yeah, it's not a magic church, Mormons. That's not how it works. You've been lied to. So, back to Brigham Young. Coming full circle. Brigham Young had nothing to do with translator. And so it's just prophet, seer, revelator, and president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Changed the name to the Jesus Christ thing. And so, if you read your scriptures, you know that translator has to be a part of it. It's in the Doctrine and Covenants, in at least 2 places that I can think off the top of my head. And so for this church to be pulling this con on Mormons that they want nothing to do with translation, and have yet had people publish that Joseph Smith's translations are true. Their Ensign had done or I guess it was the Era, had done a whole article showing the Egyptian character matches to the papyri. Oh yeah, this is Egyptian. Isn't that great? Joseph Smith is a translator. Well, that's a false equivalency. But Joseph is a translator, but just you need to readjust your argument to make it sound. Use science. But nonetheless, the New York Times had found the papyri and did a whole front page thing exposing the church as being Joseph as a fraud and incorrect translator because Egyptologists are wrong. Oh dear God, why? They tell us everything is all fixed and complete and there's nothing more to discover, and yeah, no. So I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. I then used that to decipher the other signs and the sign or on the scroll writings from Egypt that need to be added in with their translations. Just so sick and wrong. They just lie. People just lie. They're in professional positions of authority and trust, and they just lie. It's just dumb. Stop it. And so, yes, as a Mormon growing up, the church is claiming that translator is just an inherent part of being the president of the church, even though not a single president from Brigham Young has ever made any translations. Like Joseph did. They're all putting it on Joseph, but yet not a single one of the prophets from Brigham Young are doing any of what they say Joseph is doing. And they go out on missions, and we go out on missions, and we say Joseph this and Joseph that, therefore we're true. And not a single prophet from Brigham Young has done anything that Joseph Smith has done, or that we claim Joseph Smith has done, because there's some incorrect interpretations, like his vision accounts. They're vision accounts, not a literal history. So frustrating. And so when I hear conference, they leave out translator. And Nelson, since taking office, has been sneaking in translations. And they're wrong. And they're not only wrong, but they're errors made because the church refused to accept my recommended changes in the footnotes. They came to me and said, we want you for this project, this revision of the footnotes, back in the 2000s, early 2000s, for the 2009 release. They came to me, and I proved to them that I was something valuable to them, that I was excellent. And if you're unfamiliar with Bruce R. McConkie, he's considered the Mormon scriptorian, theologian, the big brain of Mormonism, because he came out with Mormon Doctrine, he did the Messiah series, and then had his final talk, I will know no better than I know now, that Jesus is an imposter and I'm tricking you with my tears. Yeah. And so he was involved in the first project, as I've been helping to inform you what he was involved with the chapter headings, etc., and passages from Isaiah, and obviously the Book of Mormon as well. And then you can run your own test to see where Bruce R. McConkie did stuff in Isaiah. It's do their footnotes. Go through all of the footnotes from cover to cover of the book of Isaiah, and you'll notice a difference. There are some that go, oh, yeah, okay, I can see that. And then there are some that you're going, what the hell? I don't get this footnote. Why? That's because somebody else did it, not Bruce. That was the quality of intelligence they had on the first batch. They let him do stuff, even though they shouldn't. But yeah, Bruce R. McConkie was able to have an understanding of the scriptures to reference other scriptures in the footnotes. And he made some errors. Nonetheless, his is far superior to the others involved in the project. And so you can distinctively see where Bruce R. McConkie left his impact. And so I wasn't able to do that, and better than Bruce, because they provided for us a scripture program, which I don't have my original beta version. Thanks, Dad. But I have the one that they put out to the general populace that doesn't include the Hebrew and Greek. I had the one that had the Hebrew and Greek in it as well. That was the beta version. And so for me, it was, I would come across a footnote, and all I was supposed to do was, if there's a topical guide, Bible dictionary, or an IE, see if I can find a guide to the scriptures equivalent and replace it. Otherwise, have it deleted. And so I'd have to do certain editing notations that were required, and then sign the paper at the end so that they know who to blame, and turn them in. And I was very fast, surprisingly fast. And as a result, I was able to do whole books where Bruce R. McConkie had to share. And so, yes, Matthew, Deuteronomy, Isaiah, me. And so there are certain passages that involve needing corrections for translation. Because I knew the correct translation, I put those in the footnote. And the supervisor came back and says, don't bother changing translations of Hebrew and Greek, because we have BYU team that's working on those. If you want it done right, let me do it. Nope, everybody has to be equitable in this project. Equitable? Belmare? And so, not equal, equitable. And it's the second definition, not the first. Or is it the second, not the first? Or the first, not the second? I looked it up, and yes, the definition that I'd always known was from commercials. You know, put some equity away in your home. Choose us. Investing in your home. Equity. And so, yeah, this other definition that has emerged, it says it's supposed to be treating people fairly and balanced. And yeah, I have seen the segregation that's involved and the discrimination that's involved with equity. But nonetheless, and so I was placed on the top committee that oversaw all the work that I and others had already done, as others were trying to finish it up, and we were now involved in the second wave to double check the work. And so when David Gaunt had had enough of me and saw that we needed to be unanimous on every decision in order for the decision to have effect, 107, 24, somewhere around there, 25, he teamed up with James, and Paul was with me. And so that way David Gaunt can get his stuff passed and put through. You know, like the cause for the destruction of Sodom being homosexuality, rather than Ezekiel 17, which was how we're supposed to do it, and footnote and reference that it was neglecting the poor. But nonetheless, yes, that was me. I tried to make that change, and they wouldn't let me. And so and there was others that infuriated David Gaunt. But he was only a seminary teacher. That was the basis of his knowledge. He had no other scientific-based education like James and I did. Paul was just a long-time Mormon and seemed to have similar views in conclusion with myself. Either that or he just, yeah, I agree. Yeah, sounds good. Faith promoting. Good idea. I like it. But yeah, Paul would come across my previous documents that I worked on, and of which I would just see the footnote and see in my mind the story reference. And so if I didn't know the reference, that's when I would use their little computer program to type in keywords so I can get the actual reference. But I saw in my head the stories that applied to the particular footnote. And I was told, no, just the topical guide, Bible dictionary, IEORs. If there's a GS, Guide to the Scriptures match, replace it. Don't worry about any of the other footnotes. They wanted it to go fast, and because everybody else was also recognizing the problem, but I was first because I'm fastest, and because of my accuracy, they couldn't believe me. They had to double check my work. And sure enough, and thus I became elevated to the top position. But yeah, I'm smarter than Bruce. Sorry, Bruce. How is it in hell? Say hi to the Lucifer for me. He tricked you, didn't he? You thought it was Jesus. No, he knew. He was tricking you. And so, yeah, and so there were certain changes that I recommended that didn't get changed, and Nelson gets up in conference and botches the translation. So, let God prevail for Israel? Yeah, oops. I put it in right. Cornerstone and capstone? No, he botched that one too. Jesus is now the chief cornerstone of the cornerstone. And what the church has been doing with this is to protect the integrity and prophetic calling and authority of their president. They're now changing translation according to Nelson. That's how horrifying it is. Because not a single translator of science agrees with any of Nelson's changes. Despite him saying that BYU professors, Hebraeus, had told him that it's the white supremacist definition of let God prevail. And so, yes, the church has now been pushing it. Let God prevail in your life. Let the chief cornerstone of the cornerstone. And he did another one in the last conference, too. And, my goodness, this is going to take a long time. I've got to get this thing set up. I moved the smaller desk over and put the bigger table over in the corner, and these things take time. But, yeah, oh my God. And so that's the backstory on Nelson's botching of translation. He's trying to pretend to be a translator to Mormons because the myth of the president of the church being a translator, because it's in Scripture, is still around. But not a single Mormon makes the connection when they raise their arm to the square as a zombie and sustain the president as a prophet, seer, revelator, and president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Not a translator. So dumb. But yeah, that's why he's doing it. Purposely, to change translation, to conform and comply to their footnotes that are incorrect, and to the King James Version of the Bible, which is also the worst translation in the universe. They're purposely dumbing you down. Because he knows Chinese. He's supposed to know Greek. He doesn't. I've caught him making some previous errors in Greek. Because he's a medical doctor. You got to learn Greek or Latin and Latin because of some of the terminology that is used in the medical profession. But he doesn't know them. He botches translation. I just, dear God, the guy is horrifying. What did you do with your life? Are you sure you invented the heart thing that saved Kimball's life? Because I'm not seeing it. I don't see you as being smart. I see you as dumb. I don't get it. Did you murder the person that did come up with it? Really? You did that? Oh, you were evil. All right. And so, yeah, I wanted to do a video about the Virgin conceiving and bearing a son, to show you the date in November 2016, and then with the conception 23rd September 2017 from Revelation chapter 12. And then a moral lesson 1: LDS Church, Mormons held captive think that they're free. I get comments all the time. I choose to be held in captivity by the church. I choose to pay the ransom money back to Jesus, who atoned for me. Oh, that's a song. I never did look up that song. Alright, Operation Adam on Diamond. I've made it a hashtag. It has to do with the Danites and the plot to destroy America and the world in the latter days. And so I wanted to, since I put out the tease, I should probably do a video on it again. Remember, LDS Church profited off of the pandemic. Ah, yes. Little remembrance for you. I don't need to speak at all. I can let the news, Fox 13 News Utah, do it all for me. If you misinterpret Joseph's writings, you mock him. I did that video. Where it was, at least, it was probably worded different, but... Nelson declares himself as the Antichrist, not the Church of Joseph Smith. Yeah, I just was wanting to do the same videos in a different presentation for you, since I got a larger new audience. I had a request to do an Albert Pike video, because I put out the teaser not too many videos back, and so I wanted to go over that with you. But again, the keystone means the image on the keystone is the doctrines that is taught therein. It's the symbol of it. And so, yes, it's the doctrines of Lucifer. Albert Pike says that when he destroys all religions of the world, that the doctrine of Lucifer will then be taught to the decimated people. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This is what they're preparing for. This is what I've warned you about this whole time. And Albert Pike confirms it. He fills in the missing links that ties it all together. And that's what you'll look for when you're investigating. And so that video was also requested. LDS Church giving Book of Mormon, testifying they're the great and abominable church, mocking Joseph Smith. Yeah, that's Brigham Young's whole thing. He was a missionary. He's supposed to go out, give the people the Book of Mormon, and tell them it's Jewish, because it says it's Jewish, right there in the beginning of the book. And yet he was going around saying it's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Jesus, Christian, no. And so that's, the church is still doing it to this day. Going around, Christian, Jesus, no. And so, yes, they're mocking Joseph Smith when we go out on our missions and lie to people. Because people can read. Learning of the Jews. Christians aren't the learning of the Jews. The whole Judeo-Christian values thing? No, that's a Christian trap. Jews don't have the same Christian values. What to expect for 2023 April General Conference? Yeah, we need to get on to that. Crimes, false doctrines, false translations. Does Jesus fulfill? I did that in a video yesterday. But yeah, I'd go do a whole video dedicated to how Jesus is not him. And then do fast facts, not just a general fast facts, which I have the playlist for, but specific fast facts of the vision accounts, Book of Mormon, the real Joseph Smith history, Brigham Young, and the latter days. And Mercy Cannot Rob Justice, I did that one, didn't I? And then Messiah, Messiah grows up in the great, because he's Jewish, right? Right? Not Christian, not Jesus. And so he's a human, mortal. And so he has to grow up just like you guys do. And I did the video about his name yesterday, and that's doing fairly well. But yeah, he has to grow up just like the rest of you. He has to learn that the church isn't true, and that he must save Mormons from it. Studying Mormonism, studying the Book of Mormon, and Joseph Smith. Yeah, I wanted to go over the scriptures in more detail. I don't think you can handle that with your TikTok brains. But showing you the Jewish interpretation rather than the Christian one that you've been brainwashed into. Living in Nelson, Zion. Yeah, that's going to be a dark video. And you guys, Mormons, aren't watching, and even ex-Mormons are like, no, he can't be that bad. He's a liar, but evil? Yeah, Lucifer, guys, hello. Make the connection. And then prophecies of the birth of 17th of March, because that's next week. Studying LDS scriptures. Teaching you how to study LDS scriptures. LDS women traumatized by LDS church patriarchy. And then I wanted to do a video on kidnapping girls, or using kidnapped girls as symbols of the future and Orwellian displays of loyalty, and that's what the church is doing. I covered that in a video. I wanted to focus on that more specifically. Sunday school lessons. If I'm going to keep on top of it, I have to do one today, don't I? And spiritual witness, Jesus, to rescue LDS Mormons from danger. He'll spiritually save you from physical danger. And then a video about the Jewish holy days for 2023. We missed Purim, didn't we? And faith crisis, get over it. LDS hate and despise their prophesied Christ. Yeah, I could do that, or I can go over the parables of Joseph Smith. I probably should do that. I'll do it on this one. There's space on this one. Prophecies of Joseph Smith. Because there's section 101, which he also refers to in 19 July 1840b. But Brigham Young didn't like being called Judas, and that he was exposed as going to murder Joseph, and so he didn't publish it in the Doctrine and Covenants for us. But the Joseph Smith Papers has exposed all of the lies of Brigham Young and his church and this church, and the lies they've been telling us. And so, yes, I'm finding a whole bunch of bombshells in there, and that's one of them. But he also expands on that parable prophecy. So there's more information that we get from it. And so it is kind of important to put it in our scriptures. And thus why part of the project that I'm working on is restoring Joseph Smith's scriptures in the context of the learning of the Jews. And so that's another big project that I've got going. And like I said, I need to get things set up so that I can even attempt to try to work on that. But I did put out a call for help. Not a single person has responded. Nobody lives by me. But I did find another single woman who maybe lives here or works here. I'm not sure which. But cute. No, she would have to live here because it was in the morning when I was going downtown. So, yeah, she lives here. I just have to bump into her again one morning, and I've only got 2 more weeks left, because the 24th my monthly bus pass runs out, and so I might have to pick up the pace and spend double time days to get more stuff before I run out of the free bus pass, which means less videos for you when I need to get my views up in preparation for conference, etc., etc. So I need help. But also section 45, the whole thing, prophecy through parable, story form. And Mormons take it literal, and yeah, the manuals don't help lead Mormons to the correct understanding. Why is LDS Jesus true, but not Christian Jesus? LDS says, I'm Jesus. Yeah, that's a little con that the church is pulling on everybody. Because we go out and say we're Christian, Jesus is our Christ, and Christians are going, no, you're not. No, you can't fool us. You're lying. And the Mormons are like, no, we're not. It's in the name. See? Nobody gets it. And so Nelson even tries to con Mormons. Oh, yeah, we're not Constantine's Jesus, who created Jesus. We're the real Jesus that I'm creating. So, yeah, there we go. I haven't even had breakfast yet. It's already 8:30. Way behind today.